So I'm literally like the day this video goes up, I am 2 days away from going to watch Mutant Mayhem, so I'm pretty excited. This is the finale to my Ninja Turtles series of reviews. Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, which is the sequel to the 2014 movie. I do not like this movie, but as I mentioned before, I have soft spots for both of these movies because these were the turtle movies that I grew up with when I was growing up. These were the ones that came out. I'm a Turtles fan. I love any Turtles movie to some extent. That doesn't mean that I have to sit here and praise the movie or talk that goodly of the movie, but yeah. This one I definitely have less nostalgia than 2014 though. This one I did not see in the theaters for the most part. I don't know why exactly I didn't end up seeing it in the theaters. I think there was just a lot coming out and just kind of never happened. And I think at that point, like, I had stopped watching the 2012 show when it was airing, and so I hadn't caught up with that show. And I was just kind of out of the turtle game. I didn't like have a shit ton of figures. I mean, if you told me, like, if you came up to me and said, "Do you like Ninja Turtles?" I probably would have been like, "Yeah," but I wasn't like currently watching Ninja Turtles on TV or movies. Um, doesn't mean I wasn't a fan, I guess. Um, but yeah, I guess this movie just, and I think that's the way the most people felt about it at the time, was that 2014 movie wasn't, or 2013, 2014, I forget what year it came out, whatever, it wasn't very good. And then the 2012 show was really good, but Nickelodeon kind of kept fucking it around on the airing schedule, and it was like, at this point, it was 4 years into its run, so the show, was definitely diminishing in popularity just because of how long it had been running at that point, right? So, it's just kind of like a myriad of things that led to this film not doing great. Even though this movie did try to fix a lot of problems with that first movie, but I think the problem with it trying to fix all the problems with the first movie is it doesn't feel like a sequel to the 2014 movie. I mean, in some ways it does. Like, it's still in the same continuity, I guess, but like Shredder feels like a different character, and he's utterly wasted in this movie. You get Casey Jones in this movie, who definitely feels like a bad Michael Bay decision casting with Stephen Amell, who was Green Arrow in the show, but he's really bad in this movie, like fucking terrible. But he's here. That feels like something out of a Michael Bay movie. But the Turtles themselves feel more like the 80s cartoons, but they don't feel anything like the Turtles that came from the previous movie. Rocksteady and Bebop are in this movie. They're great in this movie, but they also don't really feel like they belong in this movie. Krang, I don't know why. I never liked Krang in this movie. He was the one thing a lot of fans were super excited to see in this movie, but I thought it was bad in this movie. I thought the voice didn't work for him. I think it was always going to come across goofy, but the way they did him in this movie just really did not work, and it was kind of bad actually. Um, but yeah, I mean, I like that they try to be more faithful to 80s cartoon, but at the end of the day, it's still pretty bad. It has the same problems, the same writing issues. Megan Fox is still given too much to do in the movie, and really is just a terrible casting choice for this character. Everything else about the movie was fine, I guess. If you like Ninja Turtles, it's kind of worth a watch just because you'll get some enjoyment out of it. It's trying to play tribute to a lot of things. There's a lot of great references in the movie. Is the movie great? Absolutely not. It's kind of a messy movie. The plot's kind of all over the place. It's also one of those generic like fetch quest movies where this thing's over here and this thing's over there, even though it doesn't really make sense how they do it in the movie. Like, they really only go to one location, and these ninja turtles are like on a plane, and just a lot of stupid sequences that don't make sense. It's still fun, I guess, but it just doesn't work out very well.